Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Into the Comiverse. This is episode 35. We got a special treat for you tonight. We're going to be talking to Brandon Jones, a.k.a. the real Bonsey Jonsey, not the fake Bonsey Jonsey, but the real Bonsey Jonsey. And we're going to talk about his Kickstarter for The Evil That Men Do that will be published by Blackbox Comics. But first, I'm going to introduce the usual suspects, as Gary would say, to the panel. We got Voggs. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good.
And we got Cliff. How you doing, brother?
Hello. Happy Sunday.
So yeah, it's weird. I'm still trying to get used to this Sunday schedule, but I'll get there. And I'm gonna play this nice little promo from Blackbox Comics as we introduce our guest of the afternoon, not evening. Still getting used to that. For Brandon's book coming soon called The Evil That Men Do. So here's this. And welcome to the show, Brandon. How you doing?
What's
For those
up?
of you who don't know, Brandon is one of the B's in B&B Collections, my LCS, hooking me up with those nice books every week or every other week since I didn't have the money to get my books this week.
Somebody's trying to get a hefty discount today. I like it. Keep going, Tony. Keep going.
Hey, every little bit helps, So we're going to basically put Brandon in the spotlight. I'm going to have a few questions that I'm going to ask Brandon. But Brandon, before we start, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
Well, my name is Brandon, if you didn't pick up that already. Crazy. I really hope that someone in the comments says they showed us everything in the trailer, because are we on the internet if someone doesn't say that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I'm here in Jonesboro. Tony, I've known Tony for a very long time. Actually started the comic shop in a flea market over 7 years ago. And I think Tony is probably the OG customer who has been with us. Look at him smile. Look at him. Has been with us the longest. We've had some people that came along when we moved flea markets, and appreciate them too. But I think Tony is the OG guy. So look at us. Who would have thought? So anyway, and then eventually it evolved into a full-blown store, and then from there it spun off with the Nerd Assemble convention, which we'll have our 4th one at the end of July here in town. And then, of course, this book and the Bonsey Jonsey and YouTube when I have time, when I'm not running 3 businesses. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you got a stacked deck there, man. So I'm going to just go right into first, before we get into the questions, I'm going to acknowledge the chat or the chat. And I got a nice little, I always start doing this. So I got a nice little video to say hello to the chat.
Hello there.
Hey, I love the new intro, by the way. The intro's great, dude. I love it. So
Thank you. It seems like I'm always tweaking that thing. And first and foremost, we got Vog saying, "Hey y'all, thanks for coming. Much love." We got Brian LCS. He got his Kickstarter fully funded, and for his book, The Doctor. So I'm doing, I'm trying to get Brandon on here. Or Brian, not Brandon. His last name is Brian. His last name is Brandon. Brandau. Brian Brando. Anyway,
I'm out later, Tony. Let me click. Let me go ahead.
He's also the godfather of the CBC Awards, which we are 6 days away from nominations being open, and you can cast your vote for your favorite YouTube content creators. And we got me saying, "Hey, welcome to the show." We got Trev, the shipping guru. How you doing, brother? Got KBDM, and we've got Las Cruces. Hello from New Mexico. So let's get into the show. And the first question I'm going to ask you is, what got you into collecting comics to begin with?
Is it me or are you?
Yeah, this is you, man. This is all you.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was gifted a box, and I still have it, of Silver Age Superman when I was a kid by a grandparent, by a grandmother of all things. And so, Tony, we're about the same age. So, as a kid, you had Superman the movie, you had the Hulk TV show, you had Spider-Man. And so those three characters right there are still my favorite characters, with a few more. But they got me into comic books and into the whole nerd culture. Then, of course, you had Transformers Joe's, all the 80s stuff, right? I mean, that's where we exist. And then we suffered through a lot of interesting movie choices up until, early 2000s, when comic movies really hit their stride, and thankfully, technology caught up and the storytelling and all that. So, but moving back to that, yeah. So I was a kid. It was mainly Marvel, Stan Lee. Yeah.
Cool. So, what are some comics that you're currently reading?
I read everything I get, Tony. Why would you dare me ask me that question?
Well, I would say, being part owner of LCS, you got to read everything, man.
What's funny is the irony of all of this is grad school, I got a master's in English and writing and all that, and it made me hate reading. So I slowly get back into it. I can't read long because I fall asleep. It's so weird. So I'll pick up a graphic novel. I've got boxes of stuff in here I haven't read. The last thing I read through was the Deadpool manga, which I really liked. But I do collect comics every week with the intent of reading them. Or I can lie and say, yeah, man, I'm loving Something's Killing Children. I love all James Tynion and all that. Which would you prefer?
I prefer to be honest. This is there's no hate here. I mean, there's
a lot of good stuff out there. It's just it's a little bit overwhelming, and
this is my stack to read. So I mean,
I appreciate you coming in. I mean, you keeping it going, sir.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you a special shout out, either you or whoever responded to my text, because thanks to I don't remember if it was Cliff, but I know Trev and a lot of people recommended that book. What is it? Falling in Love on the Path to Hell.
Yeah, that was me.
And it made me message Brandon and them, go, "Hey man, do you have a copy? I want to read this."
Yeah, you got in. Everybody, I ordered like 10 or so just to get the incentive, because it's really pretty, and of course it sold really fast. And then it's one of those books that everybody towards the end of the week's like, "Oh, do you have this? Do you have this?" And I just happen to have, I think, 2 left. So,
but I did go ahead and add it to my pool box in case I liked it. So
nice.
But okay, back to you. Tell us a little bit about the evil that men do. The comic, not the philosophy. We'll get to the philosophy later.
All right. Well, if you click on the link that's on the flyer, or if you go to the Jonesboro, Arkansas comic book store website, Jonesboro, Arkansas comic book store.com. I have to say that slowly because it's so much. There's a whole tab there, and there's a synopsis of the story. It's set in this area, Northeast Arkansas, Southeast Missouri. It's basically an alternate reality space, right? Because I don't want anybody to think that these type of things go on here on the regular. I mean, things like that happen, but not all the time. And so the story came, really, we have to go back to my childhood again, and Unsolved Mysteries, creating this love affair for true crime. So I used to watch that show at night with the lights off, and it scared the hell out of me. but I loved every single bit of it. Right. So my obsession with that stuff had never ended. You know, I'm very much like a white lady in that regard. I like serial killer stuff all the time. So I remember watching. Yeah, you got that one. I remember watching this 40 something years ago, before I was ever married, had kids, and I was watching this deal where this teenage girl had been abducted and assaulted and trafficked, and she lived, and she was talking about it with her dad. And I remember her dad just sitting there. He looked so. You could see he was going through all these emotions of grief and anger and helplessness. And I thought, man, what would that guy do if he had a chance to confront the people that did this to his kid, right? So I put that in the old Rolodex, and just, you know, like you do with stories. And it kind of sat there, and you know, went through grad school and all that, and wrote a bunch of stuff. And then Cullen Bunn was at the store last year, and I asked him, I was like, what got you into comic books? He said, I just wanted to write anything. And then it snapped him like, dude, why am I writing? Because I had quit writing forever because I had a lot of stuff go on and everything. So yes, that's how we got here. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. You even answered the next question, because I was going to ask you what inspired you to write the comic. So that
the initial one was that, and then it started there, and then it just expanded, and it's still expanding now. The story is going even further. It's a 3-volume story. The first volume is first five issues, and then hopefully it sells enough I can do the other 2. But yeah.
Well, I hope it does sell enough. I mean, and the fact that you got Blackbox on board is pretty cool, because most of these Kickstarters usually start off on their own. But just to be able to say that you got Blackbox Comics pushing this thing, how did that happen?
Well, through the store and through conventions, I've networked a lot, and so I had met Demetrius somehow. We had each other's numbers. I don't know. So I've known him for about a year, and I pitched the idea to him. And at first he was like, I don't know. He's a really busy guy. I think he does all the editing and everything for Blackbox. So he's like, let me think about it. So I talked some other places, a few other publishing places, because I didn't really want to do it on my own. Not that there's anything wrong with self-publishing, but I'm so busy. There's some stuff I just can't do everything.
Yeah.
And so I talked to a few other people, and I was really close with a couple other indie publishers. And then he texted me back and said, hey, let me take a look at your story, and I'll let you know. I was like, cool. So I did, and he liked it, and he said, let's do it. And then he was like, do you have everything done? And I was like, no, I have 1 book done. He was like, well, do you want to finish all the books first? And I was like, that's too, because it's really expensive, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, well, let's just kickstart the first one. Then you can take that money and then work on the rest of your project. So that's how that started.
That sounds like a good idea. And now, we mentioned in private chats that you said you had to get 200 followers for the Kickstarter to launch.
So that's a private chat conversation. I can't believe you put that up. Jesus, what else are you telling these people on here?
Well, I did not say anything about the farm animals, so hey.
We didn't show any of the feet pics, right?
Unfortunately, no one could control the feet pics.
The Cliff's over here private messaging me right now.
I do not want them, but I do want to offer you a business opportunity.
Okay.
Ooh. Wait a minute. Is that an indecent proposal?
Is this PG, or do we need to get
the wording is PG, the implication is XXX. So
I'm really interested.
Oh Lord, it went off the rails quickly.
Well, how many? It's 13 minutes. That's a record for me.
Hey, yeah, it is. Yeah. How you doing, DJ Wise? So, I ran through all my questions.
So, all right. So, Brandon, what do you think in terms of getting this comic book together? What do you think was the most valuable criticism you received?
Okay, hold on. Let me back up and finish the Kickstarter story. I forgot.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh no. You piqued my interest, and then it got hard to, Oh, he checked out. He's like, dude, I can't take this. He's
still listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Demetrius, the owner of Blackbox, I think he wants to get around 200 pre-launch numbers. I'm a virtual unknown, so that's just gives enough buffer there. With enough people. So, but I'm pretty confident that we could launch at 100 and be fine. But yes, we know. So we need to really the main thing I need from anyone watching is to sign up for the pre-launch. It's free, doesn't cost anything to you. doesn't obligate you to buy anything. It just helps get the project out there for folks who are interested, who may want it. And you may want it too. I don't know. Hopefully you do, but you're not bound to do that. So that's kind of what I want to say, because I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to sign up for that. What are they charging? And that's not how Kickstarter works. That's not how this whole process doesn't work at all. So, all right. So back to your question, the most valid criticism I've gotten. Well, I mean, the editing process, of course. You know, as a writer or any kind of creative person, you're really too close to whatever you're doing to be objective. As much as we like to think we are, you know, we're not really that objective, right? Because you can't be, because you can see the whole thing, right? But that doesn't mean that someone else can see the whole thing, or someone else can understand what you're saying. Because, you know, words are tricky. Visual languages, we can get into the whole signs and signifiers and all this stuff with linguistics. But I think that just going through the editing process with Blackbox and just, you know, kind of framing it in a way that comic consumers want to read things. Because I come from like writing in prose mainly to writing, you know, because as a comic book writer, you're the writer and the director. You know, the way I did it was, these are the words, and this is what I need to see in this panel to make this happen. Yeah. You know, because when I had the artist, I didn't just say, hey, do what you want. It's like, this is what I need from you in here. So, and going back and editing that was exciting. You want to know specifically what the was? Or?
I mean, if there was like one specific moment where you're like, wow, this person really opened my eyes, or this thing that was brought to my attention, like really, I mean, usually what's criticism, obviously it was a person who directly intervened and said, hey, did you think of this? Did you want to try this? Were you going for this? And you're like, you understand me.
Well, you know, yeah, okay. So I would go back to Blackbox. So when I handed him the draft that I had, you know, he was like, we need more action in this and more action here. So then I was like, let me think about this. So then I came up with this intro, this splash page, which was very much inspired by Friday the 13th, which is my favorite slasher franchise. You see him pulling that guy through the window. It's very Jason Voorhees. And I don't know if you can really tell there, but the guy who's pulling through the window has a machete he drops. So there was all these Easter eggs to that, which I thought was neat. And a lot of the angles in the book will be very, you know, looking up like at the guy with the mask, you know, very Friday the 13th. So that was probably it. Yeah, that really kind of inspired me to go more horror in the story, because I try to keep it grounded in this like father-daughter relationship and all these struggles as a parent. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I need to have these like big moments too, right? So.
Yeah. Because that's the beauty of art, right? It's like we can tell stories in a myriad of ways. There's no reason that it can't be a horror story that isn't about a father and daughter at its core, right? And like the magic we experience is when we're able to transform our stories right into these things. You know, it could be a father and daughter fighting a symbiote alien in space for all we know. But like, it's the idea that you can bring two concepts together, make them come to life.
Yeah, I mean, as a father of two daughters, there was I can relate to a lot of the stuff in the book, you know, as far as like teenager rebellion and all this stuff. So I try to put that in there, not as the, you know, I didn't want to have panels of teen drama, but that's definitely part of it, right? So if you are a parent or whatever, you can read that and be like, oh man, I get that.
Yeah. Because I raised two daughters myself, so I know where that comes from.
Yeah, Tony's going to smoke 3 cigarettes over that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, all this heteronormative talk. So like,
hey, but I tell you what though, I do have queer characters in the book though, so it's not all straight white people.
Good, as long as you don't murder all of them in the first issue, I'm happy. And
well, they die in the prequel. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, good. As long as
spoilers.
as long as somebody gets to live, you know.
That makes absolutely no sense. They die in the prequel. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, terrible. Terrible. No, in all seriousness, so in creating your villain, were you thinking okay, I don't want it to sound like terrible, right? Like, but like Mike Myers, Jason, Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, they're like one-dimensional evil, right? You know, they have an origin. We understand what the origin. We might even be able to sympathize a little bit with the origin, like in Jason's case. But they are just like forces of evil on a warpath. Was that what you were going for with your creation, or as you leaned into horror, you realized that's what the villain has to be?
Well, the guy in the mask is not the villain. He's the hero.
Oh, there's a spin.
It's a very much a vigilante justice story. So, how can I word this without spoiling too much? Well, if you read the bio, it doesn't spoil anything. The dad takes on this persona of vengeance, basically, not like Ghost Rider, but he takes on this deal where he goes and then he brings it to all those involved to bring justice to the situation. Basically, that's without giving away too much. That's kind of
I don't know. I'm just hearing Jason's mom going into action now. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's got this terminal brain cancer, so he doesn't have much time to live. He's a man out of time. You know, he's lost all control over the situation, right? He's trying to rectify this and this guilt of this stuff in his past and how he treated the baby's mother and his wife who dies and all this stuff. So there's all these things, and he's trying to settle basically his affairs before he dies. And this thing happens. And so he's like, damn, I've got to do this too. So it's just another thing for him. So yeah.
So I had a question. Do we experience any of the characters having flashbacks in the comic where they're like, go back, and then he's like, oh, like just like an epiphany?
Well, there is definitely flashback scenes in the first book that sets up, you know, some of the tension because there's villain are very much tied to his past, the father's past, that creep up to now. So all that gets set up, and then shit, I can't really say much. But yes. To answer your question, yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm trying to ask questions that don't dig deep into spoiler territory.
Greg.
Greg I feel so clean and pressed.
That's right. Greg does all my cleaning and pressing for the books that I send through Brandon to get graded.
Greg does a good job.
Yeah, he does.
So we obviously have a wide variety of characters. So where did you pull your inspiration for your pool of characters? You know, I feel like some of it could have come from the documentary that inspired you. Some of it can be from you yourself being a father and your own kids. What fleshes out the canvas of characters for you?
All right, so how can I word this without giving away to it? Because there's so many twists at the end that I'm like, I can't. Small town crime. You know, there's a lot of meth making, a lot of that kind of, you know, mobile home jumping where they're making drugs. There's a whole drug ring without sounding like, you know, some kind of conspiracy theorist. You know, there's a crime ring, you know, crime syndicate basically. Yeah. Southeast Missouri, Northeast Arkansas. They're at odds, but they're trying to work together. But then they get thrown in the situation to where now chaos just breaks out.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that is just homegrown crime. You know, I mean, you don't have to look very far and see all the stuff that's in this book. It's very much tied to the area as far as the crime goes. Now, other inspiration, a lot of it comes from, I draw a lot of my inspiration from music. So I'll hear a song and then I'll get an idea for something in a book or whatever. And then I'll go, how do we get here? Where do we go? Like in the 4th issue, there's a whole scene that's inspired by Slayer Raining Blood. I was listening to it, popped up on Pandora, and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool. And then it just took off from there. And it literally is raining blood. So,
boy, so you put those wood chippers to work right away.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I've talked to Brandon before when he first told me the name of the book, and I've said it before. It made me think of the Iron Maiden song from Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. So I mean,
oh yeah, I mean that song definitely in there, and then of course that song's based on, I think, Mark Antony, Shakespeare's play, and talking about, you know, the evil acts that people do follow them more so than the good acts, right? That's kind of poor man's interpretation. But so
And you
yeah,
talk-
but, I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say you used to talk about like local stuff that happened in Arkansas, and something when you said that automatically threw me back to the '90s, and I'm not talking about the comic being from the '90s, but it threw me back to the '90s, and we all know what happened in Northeast Arkansas in the '90s. Most of the
True.
world knows about what happened with the West Memphis 3.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's still ongoing too. So
Yep.
with more DNA testing, so hopefully they'll figure that out.
Yeah.
So, so does this all take place in Arkansas, or do they go like I know it takes place like would they go state from state, or just all in?
No,
Arkansas?
it's all in the area that we are here, Northeast Arkansas. I mean, people will come down. Are you familiar with the area at all?
No.
Okay. So you got Northeast Arkansas and then Southeast Missouri, but that's also called the boot heel. The part that comes down into the state. So though I can't say if the story's going to go there, but I know people will come down here. If that makes any sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
And since it's in the area, we got to do a shameless plug for the comic story in the story too.
Oh, I've got all kind of stuff in there, yeah, that you would only know if you knew. Of course, I mean, everybody does that, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah,
even Destry has in the second book. There's a deputy. His last name is Mason. D. Mason, and he's a big fat dude with a beard. He looks just like Destry, big fat guy with a beard, and he's a deputy.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I love when people do homages to like certain people, like, oh, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh wait.
Well, I was going to say if he wants to, he can make me the town drunk.
Ooh, that would be funny.
you can be the guy who's in every one of these, Jaws or the horror movies. Like, don't go in there. There's he's like,
No, or he could be the old guy who said he saw everything, but they're like, oh, he's crazy.
This place has got a death curse.
And then they find him dead later with his eyeball, hanging out or something. Yeah.
And you're like, okay, maybe he was right.
Yeah, maybe he had a point. Now, I love the fact of the plot, and that it actually, from the father's perspective of it's kind of like, what would you do? Being a father of 2 children, 2 daughters myself, what would I do if I was in that situation? How would I handle something like that happening to my kids?
Statistically speaking, you'd go on a killing spree.
I would.
I remember Facebook. You would, if you look at every comment on every crime story, they're all going to murder people and shoot them. Yeah, it's just Facebook.
Yeah. And a lot of them try.
Yes.
Hello, statistical reporting. Except it's not a great adventure story.
I was going to say, I remember a story when me and my wife first got together. My brother-in-law worked for Poinsett County Sheriff's Department, and he was a jailer there. And they had a guy there, and I don't remember his name. He was an older gentleman, and he was there because somebody had raped his daughter, and he killed him. And he was there, and that was why he was there. And they treated him. They stayed out of his way and treated him with respect because they knew why he was there.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying this is how we should handle anything.
Oh, no.
But I'm saying this is how Will Baker handles things. So don't mess with Will Baker's kids.
Only answer this question if it doesn't really contain a spoiler, because I don't want nothing spoiled. But talking about the story and what the character is going through, how much knowledge do the kids have of what their dad's doing? Or are they just completely oblivious, or are they starting to catch on?
Well, you mean the one he has his daughter is the one. He just has one kid.
Okay, I thought he had 2. Never mind.
No, he only has one. And it's on her 18th birthday that this happens because she sneaks out and then things go bad. I can't answer that question.
Okay, well, I understand.
Yeah,
but not by answering the question, you answered the question. Aha!
Oh, you got me, Tom.
Mind blown.
So yeah, we're going with that. All right. So my next question being, do you intend for this story to be told exclusively from the perspective of the father, or are we going to see a little switching up?
Well, I mean, it's third person, right? But there are parts of the story to where it goes first person in moments where I think it's pretty cool, like what it would be like in those moments to see all this happening from that perspective. So yeah, there'll be some back and forth for sure.
That's cool.
I gotta take a moment, say hi to my mom.
Oh,
Is that Mom? Hey, Mom. Thank you for giving us Tony. He pays my rent.
well, he's one of the people paying your rent.
That's true, yeah. But and not in terms of age, but in terms of years, he's the oldest person paying the rent.
Oh, so he's put in the most efforts. Good job.
Yeah. All right, so trying to come up with some more questions. I know you said your time was limited.
I got a few more minutes. I don't have to be on another one till 3. I just need to have enough time to get on there. I forgot that I booked that one at 3. So my apologies.
So let's just ask a crazy question.
Okay.
Because we like crazy questions. If this was optioned, who would you want to play the main character?
Ooh,
That's a good. I thought about that a lot.
And where can I make a cameo?
I call the fat bearded cop. That's me. I call it.
And you'd actually be pretty good. Who would I don't know. I think an unknown would be nice. But I do think for Sheriff Brady, someone like that could be someone really attractive. So you'd want somebody like what's his name? You just played Ken in the Barbie movie.
Gosling.
Ryan
Jonsey.
Gosling.
Yeah, someone with that physique and that look would be perfect in that role, honestly. Yeah, because that's how he's drawn.
So maybe Glenn Powell from The Hitman.
Yeah, Glenn Powell would be fantastic. Yeah,
I hate to choose my darlings, but I say go with Glenn.
and maybe through Glenn, I could meet Sydney Sweeney, and my life would be complete. So there's that.
Right? Just connect the
Hey,
dots.
Yeah.
Wait,
But no, yeah, I
Cliff,
think
what
Glenn
did you
Powell-
say you wanted to be?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I said Cliff. What did you want to be? The cop?
fat bearded cop.
Oh,
What was he? The sheriff or something?
He was deputy sheriff. Yeah.
Deputy sheriff. You know.
Mhm.
I'm just walking around town. I got narrowly elected into office. People are constantly making jokes about me eating donuts. I give them side eye because I do all my own cooking. You know,
And you're constantly pulling up your pants.
I'm constantly pulling up my pants. They all think I'm a buffoon, but I know I'm smarter than them. It's great. It's just great. You know, I'm only important when push comes to shove, and it's like, did you miss the evidence?
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
You know, I love it. I was just like, I'll just be like a Hitchcock and Scully like genius hybrid from Brooklyn Nine-Nine in like a small town.
Man, if I had that much comic relief in there, that'd be perfect. There's a little bit of comic relief. Because,
No, it's gonna be great. You know, it would just be like, it's like, that's really funny. It's like, there's something interesting about stewing down meats, and people are like, are you suggesting they cook the bodies? And I'm just saying, I feel like you missed it.
Sometimes a fella's got to eat another fella. So,
Yeah. Look at them people up on that, up in the mountains. It happened.
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
Rich.
Oh my God. Speaking of eating men. Hi, Rich. How's it going?
Rich is like, I'm out.
Yeah, Rich is like, I'm
What
done.
It's like disconnect.
Do you have any questions, Rich?
Rick does not have any questions.
Rich is still like catching up to our existence.
Oh, wow.
Richard, can you hear us?
Yeah, he can hear us.
It's getting back to the Kickstarter though. While we're waiting on Rich,
Get back to the Kickstarter.
We could do. I know that my store is going to buy copies. There's always retailers out there can always buy in. If they want to reach out to me on this Kickstarter, we can probably work out some kind of deal.
I know I'm going to try to buy some copies and do a giveaway.
Or you could just send me one, Tony. Is that the nice way of saying you'll send me one?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Well, not to invite myself back, but once it releases, we can just come back on here and do a giveaway together. Why don't we do that?
Oh, dude,
Hey.
that would be dope.
That would work.
I'm like, there would be no objections. None.
So everyone's saying thumbs down. Okay, well, never mind, Tony. I tried, buddy, but no. But
Are you
Rich-
okay?
I'm hanging in there for that cop roll, for God's sake.
Okay, I'm going to take a minute. I said hi to my mom. I'm gonna have to say hi to my daughter, Katie. How you doing, Katie?
Hey, Katie.
Yep. I buy a
Is
lot
that-
of My Little Pony books for her.
Yes. And I'm working on getting a guest who wrote My Little Pony. So
Really
more about that later.
cool.
I was
For
on another
your
podcast with him last week. So
Well, that's cool.
yeah.
'cause you get some really awesome people that shows up at the expos, your monthly expos, and then, like you said, you've got the next Nerds Assemble Con with. I know Jeremy Clark's supposed to be there again. He was at the Turtles Con.
Yeah, him and Raymond Gay are going to be there. They've done a lot of work together. That's why we booked them together.
So Brandon, do you expect to eventually, like, I live in Charlotte, so I'm like a bit of ways. Do you expect to go to like Heroes Con and other cons in the near? I know you just started this Kickstarter the next few years.
Yes. Right now I'm just booking in driving distance. But once I get a few issues out there, I'm next year I'm definitely looking to go in some bigger shows. And
Because I'm gonna be at Heroes next year.
I'd love to come out there. I love that part of the country. My wife and I, our favorite part of America is Nashville East. So
Nice.
yeah.
I was gonna say my goal is to be there next year as well, but we'll see.
We should all just show
Much
up and we
better
can stay
be
at his house. You got room. Look.
Do y'all know how hard that I don't even know. Whatever. I'm gonna be killing myself. Y'all all I'm gonna kill myself to be a hero.
Was that
There's
English
gonna be a
clip or
damn
the-
parade waiting for me.
Just go ride, tag along with Izzy. Be like, you're
I
taking
can
me
tag
in
along
there.
with Cup. I just can't afford it. It's just not feasible. It's just escaping me.
Do
I
we
understand,
finally
brother.
hear Rich?
Can we hear you, Rich?
I can't hear him.
No, I can't hear him either. Damn. Replug that mic.
Well, Brandon, back to you. Are you there? Or did you freeze up? Oh no, he
He's
moved.
good. He's good.
Yeah, I'm going to
So
share the Kickstarter link in the chat if anybody wants to.
Yeah, go ahead. Feel free to do so. I was going to say the links to the Kickstarter and Brandon's YouTube channel is in the description of this video if you want to check it out. But yeah, feel free to do that.
Yeah. Let me do that right now.
So
Can y'all
Brandon,
see me?
we haven't.
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, we picked up a few people. I'm gonna say it's your fault, Tony. It's awesome.
All right.
So Brandon,
Anyway.
Since your lead is like an inverse serial killer, right? He's the serial killer of murderers, essentially, that we're looking at.
Mhm.
So is there some other form of serial killer vibe to look forward to in this? Like, is it gonna be like serial revenger versus serial killer?
You know, but in subsequent volumes, you might.
Yeah, okay. I could, because like I feel like we could build to that. And also, since I'm stuck on serial killers, what is your favorite serial killer weapon of choice?
Ooh.
Serial killer weapon or slasher?
I'm
villain?
sorry, slasher villain weapon of choice.
Oh, that's a good one. It would probably be the old trusty butcher knife.
It's just a classic.
I mean, you got Scream, you got Myers. It's just, Jason has his machete, which is that's awesome. But the butcher knife seems so easy to manage. Like anybody can do that,
Right, and that's what I think, because I think that's why it shows up so prevalently in so many horror movies. Like anybody can wield one. Anyone can go into it.
Yeah, and it's usually in somebody. Pretty much every kitchen in America has a butcher knife in there somewhere, right? So it's you can just grab it and go. That's what happens in real life too. You watch docs and they just grab the first thing in there, and it's usually a knife, and they.
Yeah, this is why I don't actually own a butcher knife. I don't need to ever have a partner that thinks that that's going to be an option.
I mean, it makes sense. You have your serial killer security guard. That's part of your safety boundaries.
Yeah. Me being 6'3" and having a baseball bat is very good for 60% of situations.
No, that's a good one too. Yeah. Thank you. I couldn't get to share. Thank you.
Well, I'm still trying to learn how to give everybody wrenches so they can do stuff in the chat, and I'm still learning all that.
But I mean,
But
I will tell you this: there's a lot of corruption. You know, I know it's hard to believe that small time America has corruption, but the corruption runs deep. Let's just put it that way. And it has for a very long time in this area. You know, Tennessee is this isn't said in Tennessee, but Tennessee has such a long history of corruption from local to state government, right? Like the whole state has always had some crazy.
I just want to share that a lot of people may hate surveys and statistics and such, but all I can tell you is, thanks to surveys and statistics, I've heard all of this.
How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing good now. You guys can hear me. Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, how's everybody doing today?
You sound
Good.
sexy today. Good for you.
What's
Rich,
up,
you
Cliff?
got any questions for Brandon or?
Nah, sorry guys. I jumped in late. I didn't really get to hear the whole thing. So I just heard
Well,
the tail end of the Heroes Con part.
Well, Brandon has written a comic called The Evil That Men Do that will be published by Blackbox Comics soon.
Cool.
And we're here asking him questions about the comic without spoilers. And like I said, I've been showing it. This is the link to the Kickstarter that will be coming soon.
Yeah, I don't want to get any Kevin Feige texts today. I do get those from time to time. Like, don't say that. I've gotten that before from the publisher. Don't say that. I'm like, okay.
So here's the crazy thing about horror, man. It never goes away. People always love horror. So I mean,
exactly.
Hopefully, it does extremely well for you.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah, in horror, slasher films are based in like conservative values, right? So if you don't do anything wrong in life, you live. It's the people who drink. You know, that's not where I'm coming from in this, but I mean, it is funny though how I remember the Satanic Panic in the '80s was like, I'm like, this dude is literally living your life. He's getting your righteous judgment here against all these sinful teens. So why do you have a problem with this? But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. The Satanic Panic of the '80s.
Were you just rooting for the villain in that story? I don't understand. I was like, no, I'm not rooting for the guy rounding up kids playing D&D. I'm sorry.
Speaking of which, I played D&D Friday night.
Oh my gosh. You remember that Tom Hanks made for TV movie on ABC?
It was an atrocity. Oh my Lord. And like his mind was never repaired. You know?
Yeah, well, you know, it's the evil of D&D. It's just how it goes when you roll dice with Satan, duh.
Ain't nobody rolled dice with me yet.
Horrifying.
Oh.
Anyhow.
I'm about to have to jump off here, guys. I really appreciate it. Any last questions or critiques or?
I'm good.
No, I'm very much intrigued.
I'm looking forward to it as well. You know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Congrats on the Kickstarter and getting
I'm looking forward to my. I was gonna say I'm looking forward to my autographed 9.8 copy.
Just a 9.8? That's disappointing. Why not a 10?
9.9.
Well, at the very least,
9.1.
Tony deserves nothing less than a 9.9. Remember that.
How about a 9.9 with a check mark? You know, that's where they're like, this is really a 10, but we're going to give you a check mark. Have you seen that?
That'll work. No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, that's so dumb. I hate that.
When has CGC done a check mark? I have not seen this.
No, CBCS does.
Yeah, I haven't seen it with CBC, but I saw it.
Please.
I saw
you know
it
what?
CBCS.
They had a hot 20 minutes to shine in the sun, and they absolutely blew it. It's over. It's over. I mean, not entirely over, but it's premature.
Well, Brandon, I want to take a minute and thank you for hanging out with us and answering some questions. Like I said, y'all, the link to the Kickstarter is in the chat. It's also in the description, as well as links to his YouTube. I think I put your Instagram in there as well. You can check him out, as well as I think I put the link to Blackbox Comics in there. If I didn't, I'll fix it after the show.
I followed Brandon like a week before the show started. I was like, yes.
You know, I'm just really looking for.
He's my top fan.
I wish Brandon nothing but the best. You know, I talk to him every time I go into the store, and you know, I'm gonna live vicariously through Brandon until I can get my own script written out, and he's gonna show me how to do it.
That's right, for free.
We're all going to be comic book writers for too long.
I mean, why not? Get it done, man.
And that's not a bad thing.
And now's the time. It's all comic books are so hot right now. So
yeah. Well, thank you,
Bye.
Brandon.
Thank you, sir. Come back anytime. Hell, dude, just you ever feel like just hanging out and BSing with the rest of us, just let me know and I'll send you a link.
I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good evening, and
You
we'll
too.
talk soon.
Awesome
Yes,
having
sir.
you.
You too,
Thank
man.
you,
Best
sir.
of luck.
Thank you.
Oh,
All right.
why isn't he?
So
I'm doing some. All right, go ahead.
you were complimenting my comic book man on Community earlier.
Dude, you and freaking Louie, that was so funny.
I've got to go back and watch that because
I died. I'm like, Cliff, what about me?
Oh, don't worry, you'll be in the next round. It'll be fine.
I better be.
You know what's really funny? It's just like the creator of The Simpsons said. I made characters based on my family members, and they hate me for it. And I have other family members who are furious that I never made them a character in the show. And I'm like,
When's the next one?
I don't know. Like, obviously, this one's going over well, so like we'll have one eventually.
Is it on repeat? I noticed it was on repeat for a little
He does. If you've noticed, most of his lives he'll do a repeat. So he showed it. He spoke in the middle. He's like, I'm going to show it again. He shows it again, and then he talks a little bit about it at the end. So like in the middle, he talks about Heroes Con. At the end, after he shows it a second time, he just wraps it up, and that's it.
Yeah, it was.
I'm gonna get down to some business, some community news, and all that, and then we can talk some more. I'm gonna bring up a TV show later. Hopefully, we'll have some good discussion on that as well. So let's start with some community news. So as we all know, we are 6 days away from the kickoff of the CBC Awards. And like I said, you can go to www.cbcawards.org to cast your votes in over 30 categories for your favorite YouTube content creators. I know Cliff's you're a member of the council. Well, besides the council, you're a committee member.
I'm a committee member. That's it's very different things here.
Along with theirs. Well, you know, you juggle a lot. You got the Council of Comics and the Council of Cliffs. Don't forget that.
Yes, we meet annually and try to keep the best of us from being murdered cosmically. It's great.
And I'm going to go ahead and go into my first segment, which we all know I love doing this. This is the Comiverse Community Shoutouts. So I picked 7 channels to highlight. And, you know, if you're not subbed to these channels, give them a sub. Check out their content. They make great content. And this is this week's Comiverse Community Shoutouts. And see, he wasn't just a guest on the show; he got shouted out as well.
As it should be.
As it should be. So say we all.
Yep.
So yeah, and now I will go into my next segment, which I have to load because, you know, doing this on StreamYard, when you're loading videos and you've dealt with StreamYard, you know what I'm talking about. You're only allowed a certain amount of time to do it on the side, which I have to do an extra video for this. But this is this week's in comic history, and it's a little bit longer than normal, but there's some really great books that are coming out. Specifically, the ones you can't see them, but behind me are sharing special anniversaries. So here we go. Mike's may be still alive, so here we go. There we go.
Nice.
That was a big history lesson.
There was a lot of Spidey anniversaries in there. I don't know
Yeah, I
how
know.
biased that was.
It was very biased.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got this. I like showing this off. This was the Shea Stadium gift set. If anybody ever got to go watch the live action wedding that took place in June of that year, they got it was during the New York Mets Pittsburgh Pirates game, and you got the comic, and then inside is a bag, a Mets schedule, and a poster and stuff. And I found this on eBay a long time ago for $30, and I've never seen it again.
It's pretty cool.
I only remember seeing it on the news because they had someone there dressed up as Firestar and someone there dressed up as Iceman.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. I remember. I remember vividly from my childhood.
And since we were talking about CBC Awards and Cliff was nice enough to say hashtag acknowledge me, yes, when you're thinking about who to cast for the CBC Awards, you know.
Acknowledge me!
I got to do it. I'm sorry. It's a shameless plug. I should feel sorry for myself, or I should feel bad about myself, but I don't. Silence.
What category, Cliff?
What's that?
I'm in.
What category?
No, this is open nomination, so you can nominate people for all categories at this time.
Yeah.
Then that will close, and then the finalist list comes out, and then that's the voting period. So this is the very important opening stage. Whoever you really love, submit.
I love everybody. We got promiscuous time travel.
I love everybody even more this year. It just sucks. Last year was just easy being the new kid on the block and just savagely going for votes. Now this year I have feelings.
Now, I'm gonna pop up a little picture real quick. I usually don't do FOC or any of that stuff, or what do you call it? What do they call it? Cutoff. Anyway,
Final order cutoff.
Yeah, FOC. This is not on FOC. This is I'm just bringing this to people's attention. That, like Transformers, this is in the June catalog.
Yep.
Image Comics is reissuing Transformers #1 in a 40th anniversary edition. You can get the main cover.
Yep.
I also seen that there is a 40th anniversary variant to commemorate 40 years of Transformers. Didn't see that cover, and there's supposed to be a blank sketch.
And
Durs mentioned something about a foil, but I didn't see it in the previous catalog. But if there's a foil, I'll probably get that as well. What are your thoughts? I mean, I figure it's about time, but
I love a blank cover.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, this might be the first time I ordered like 3 or 4 blanks of this issue just so I could have people draw on them.
Yeah.
This Transformers.
Just get
And-
all your favorite Transformers commissioned for all the covers.
Oh yeah. And then I'm going to talk about something that I watched, and depending on who you talk to, it's got some popularity, it's got some negativity. But if you've seen it, cool. If you haven't, cool. But I want everybody's thoughts on the Acolyte.
I
You
never
know-
watched it.
So I did watch it. And it's okay. I guess that's my biggest problem. My biggest problem is that it's just okay.
What?
You know? Yeah. And it's like, Disney, like you can't just give us okay. You need to go hard on giving us quality at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few well choreographed scenes. The story is all right. Some of the visuals do not look even second rate, which is a little bit upsetting. But that's about it. Like, I want to like it more. I love the lead actress, and
I don't really like her.
but it's just everything. But it's just, I don't know. How it feels like don't feel like they congeal. And then we've got a whole group of Jedi, and it feels excessive. And then there's the short one. I don't know why. She just annoys me. I'm just annoyed by her constantly.
Daphne Keane?
Yeah, whatever she is. The little one. I'm like, you're just annoying.
That's the actress that plays X-23.
Yeah, fabulous X-23. Hate her here. I'm just like, oh my God, there's one too many of you, and you are the one that pushes it over the edge.
That's my favorite character.
Really? Little Miss,
Yeah.
This is the Jedi. You're under arrest. Her? That's your favorite?
Well, there was the one with the big ears in the beginning that came out with Yord, and in episode 2, that was a different one. The one in episode 2 is the one I liked. The one in episode 1 was
maybe,
annoying.
maybe I'm just making.
You're getting them mixed up because they look
Maybe I am
similar.
getting them mixed up because they're aliens and I'm a xenophobe. So okay.
I was gonna say now. To be fair, I'm still trying to learn their names. I know Osha and May, and I couldn't even remember the name of that one Jedi.
It's only been 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But that's another
Saul,
Huh?
Saul is
No,
the
Saul.
Asian guy.
Saul, I remembered because the name Saul reminds me of son, and no, the other one, the one that was all serious and like
Yord.
yeah, he kind of reminded me of what it'd be like if Spock had a lightsaber. I don't know.
So
Yeah.
I watched the 2 episodes, and after watching the first one, I'm like, this is terrible. I was like, this is bad. And then after watching the second one, with the whole story of the twin and everything, I'm like, okay, it's
going
terrible.
somewhere.
I don't want to say it's great, but it's okay. The only thing is, being a Star Wars fan, and like most Star Wars fans, we wanted to see like Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
We wanted to see that, and I don't feel like we really got it yet. So we'll see what happens. But I like the twist of the twins. If it wasn't for that, I probably I don't want to say I would have gave up, but I would have been like, yeah, this is bad. But I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that they both thought that their sister was dead. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. I don't have Disney Plus or whatever yet.
I'm gonna say one negative thing, and that's all I'm gonna say, and it's just my personal opinion, and it's that I think there was a complete waste of Carrie Ann Moss. I think she should have been in there more. I loved her.
That was awesome.
No, that was. I mean,
I'm like, oh, cool. Carrie Ann Moss is one of the Jedi, and then dead.
Yeah. Which, by the way, which is a problem since episode 3. Don't show me all these Jedi and tell me how amazing they are, so that I watch them die in 5 seconds.
And I was like, wait, she didn't force heal from a knife, just a standard knife.
Right, and this is supposed to be peak Jedi, so you would think.
But Sabine Wren gets like cut through the stomach with a lightsaber and lives like I don't know.
Yeah, almost repeatedly.
No, it's not John Wick.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it for what it turned. If they just gave us episode 1, I would have probably had a totally different opinion of it. But they gave us 2, so.
And I totally turned off the haters. What they were all griping about. I was like, no, I'm gonna view this the way I want to view it, and I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not peak Star Wars, but it's getting there. Maybe it'll get there. Give a few more shows, and we'll see.
Yep.
Cliff, what do you think?
I feel like I said enough about it. I want it to be more. I don't want any more shows that are not exciting and engaging in the first 2 freaking episodes.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Which, by the way, the last show I can think of in the past 5 years that was exciting and engaging in 2 episodes was freaking X-Men.
There we go. Yeah.
X-Men wasted 0 time. They were like, oh, look at this rich mutant boy kidnapped. We're going to save his ass. Like, they just got right to it.
Yeah. And speaking of X-Men, how would y'all summarize this whole first season of X-Men 97?
Fabulous. It's a 10.
Yeah, it was
Justice
awesome.
for Rogue. Screw all you people who are crapping on her. She's been through a lot.
And listen, the crazy thing is like we thought we were going to get Apocalypse and Onslaught and all these different characters, and we didn't really get them, but it was still awesome what they gave us. Like even the the Sentinel guy, I forgot his name already.
Trask,
Bastion,
and,
Not Trask. The guy from the last 2 episodes that I guess he died. The son of the old lady.
That's Bastion.
Bastion. Yeah, Bastion.
Sebastian. Yeah. Bastion. Sorry. It was good. And he was a low-level villain in the book. So, I mean, and then the last episode, the way it ended, I thought was freaking awesome. Young Apocalypse.
I
We
don't
got
think
Mother
he
of
was a
Scanny.
villain in the book. Do we not remember Messiah Complex? He murdered my precious Nightcrawler.
I didn't read Messiah Complex.
Well,
It wasn't a great
spoiler alert,
story.
He murdered Nightcrawler, and Rogue had to fight for her life. And with his dying breath, Nightcrawler saves freaking Hope and teleports her out of there.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, now I did remember it revolved around. Is that the one where Cable was protecting Hope?
That was later.
Well, it starts
That
like
was later.
that,
Okay.
but like,
Okay.
I mean, obviously, all the X-Men are trying to protect her.
Well, you could obviously tell I wasn't reading X-Men during this time. I wasn't reading anything, actually, to be honest.
No, but that was a good time to actually read X-Men, and the Utopia phase was a good. Utopia phase just proves that Cyclops is right. You know.
Switching gears for a second, back to the books. Like I'm kind of shocked that the first appearance of the Mother Ascani didn't like go up more. I mean, I know it's a cheesy book. Was that Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix?
It is
#1.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's still like a $5 book, but
I know, but don't worry, it's gonna pop as soon as season 2.
Yeah.
As soon as season 2 shows up, this whole series is gonna pop.
go rob the dollar bins because they're probably all over them.
Exactly. Exactly. You know? And while you're in there, look for these too.
Yep.
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 You're gonna say anything that has to do with Clan Ascani.
The morning that episode aired, I'm like, I am going to the comic book store immediately after work, and I was just like, bloop, bloop, bloop.
Oh hell. So, what else we got? What else y'all want to talk about?
I didn't pick up anything new, and I know Tony didn't. I wonder if anybody else did.
I didn't pick up anything new, but I got some slabs back from Chris Claremont signing event.
You want to show them off, or
Yeah, sure, why not?
we'll put Rich in the spotlight?
Let's see what we got here. So we got a little razzle dazzle.
Oh
Ooh,
shit!
Yeah.
Wait,
Nice.
what's the thing on the top? What's the?
So this
Yeah.
you can only get with a Chris Claremont signature series. So
Interesting.
that's like his remark. I didn't get the remark, but I got the custom label because it's only available with the Claremont.
I think it's really weird that Chris Claremont has a custom label, like especially one that looks like that.
Well, McFarlane does. Why not Claremont,
But
right?
McFarlane is an artist and a writer. Chris Claremont is not.
So this
He's a
book,
writer.
really, nothing important happens in it. Phoenix joins the X-Men, even though it's Jean Grey. But
Yeah.
I knew this was high grade. I knew it was
Oh wow.
between a 9.2 and a 9.6, somewhere in that range, and it came back a 9.4. So
You
pretty
guessed
psyched with that.
right.
Yeah, 110. I mean, sometimes you have these old books, and you're just like, damn, this is a freaking sharp copy. So that's why I sent that one in. And then the last one, I had 3 copies of this, and I sent the best one in, and I didn't even think it was a 9.0. I thought it was like an 8.5 book. So psyched that
Yeah.
it's a 9.2.
Boom.
9.2, very nice.
So first Sinister.
That is awesome, man.
That's
I've
it,
got
guys.
one, but
That's
not
it.
great. And if I was to send mine in, it definitely wouldn't get a 9.2.
Yeah, I have one that's like probably a 9.8 contender, but it has like pen written on the cover. I'm just, come on, man. So that's all I got.
Cool.
You know, Tony,
And-
not all of my comments are for the public.
Okay, I read it right when I did it. But Rich, I'm gonna play this video for you since it's the only one I have. So
Groovy.
that
I grabbed a few things this week.
you did.
Yes, but it was all like my regular stuff. But one thing I got was this
Oh wow,
spoiler cover to Hellverine #1.
that is awesome. Spoiler.
It is. I was very, very, very happy. And of course, I love me some blank covers. So, My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, what is that story about? I keep hearing about it, but I
This
don't know
takes
nothing
place
about it.
between season 1 and season 2. So
Okay.
this
Oh wait, there's a show.
yes, there is.
Okay, I didn't know there
On
was
Adult
a show.
Swim. And dude, Adult Swim on YouTube has been showing the first season on a loop, so you can
Cool.
catch up.
Okay. I knew
So
that.
My Adventures with Superman #1, great blank cover. Ultimate Spider-Man #2, third printing.
Wow.
Wolverine Blood Hunt #1.
Now that's going to be a cool one to get a
Yep.
sketch on.
Well, I mean, I should hope. And then let's see, my boy Sean Lewis, Bear Pirate Viking Queen #2.
I feel like I should have got that. I missed those
I
two
feel like
issues.
you should have got it too, and I feel like you are missing out.
I'll have to look when I'll see it. I'll see if Brandon them's got it.
Speaking of missing out, falling in love on the path to hell.
My copy's coming.
I hope so. I hope so. And then we got Ms. Marvel, the Mutant Menace. And this issue kind of pissed me off.
Uh-oh.
If I understand this issue correctly, they used the Terrigen Mist to destroy her mutant gene.
Interesting.
Well, because typically it kills mutants, right? But
No, I didn't know that.
Right. So she became inhuman first. So instead, they just ran the mist again to basically kill the mutant inside her. I mean, I don't know. I that's what's implied. I was not thrilled with that.
So
especially
they're retconning the retcon?
I don't know what I mean, the book is called Mutant Menace. Just shut up about retconning the retcon. I can't handle you people.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't understand I don't think they know what they want to do with her powers.
No, because there are a bunch of jackholes over there. You got writers who actually want to accomplish something. You got editors that don't do their job, don't do a traditional editorial job anymore. And then you got corporate bullshit being like, well, we need this to be X, Y, and Z. And I just hate it. But then we got Ultimates #1.
Nah, and I'm looking forward to reading that.
Yep. And I got the foil too, because I have zero self-control. And
Ooh.
so that's pretty. And then what else did I want to show you? I have a couple more, but these were the ones I was excited about. And there was something else I wanted to mention, but I completely forgot. So here we are. That was it. That was it for me.
I was going to say I could show you what I got last week, but I mean, I already showed them. At least I think I did.
Yeah.
But I've read a few books. I read most of the Energon stuff. I thought Cobra Commander ended really great. I'm looking forward to that. And the fact that they introduced Springfield, I'm assuming the town that they met in was Springfield. Because anybody that remembers the old cartoon and the old Marvel series, Springfield was ran by Cobra. So I mean, I figured him and Commander and Destro met in Springfield. Looking forward to what comes from that. What Scarlet came out this week, right?
Yes.
Looking forward to that. And then we got Destro. I have not read the whatever issue it is now for the Real American Hero, the latest one. I've got it, but I hadn't read it.
I hear Larry Hama's hasn't lost his touch.
It's been really good, this one.
Yeah. Although apparently Snake Eyes talks because they cloned him and brought him back.
Well, it's clones.
Yeah. If it makes you feel better, he just talks at a minimum.
Huh. Hey y'all, we got one collection down. There we go. How you doing, brother?
Stay well.
I've been having fun doing the Instagram hashtag stuff, Figgy Friday and all that.
Oh yeah.
Well, y'all, I don't really have a lot more to talk about. We got Phil coming up. He's probably already started. So I want to go around the horn real quick, and we'll talk about what we got coming up. I know, Rich, you joined late. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
I know.
I have nothing coming up, man. I will be with you Sundays, and cleaning and pressing when I get to them. I will have those videos up. I try to drop at least one a week, but sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. So, but that's it.
I love the Izzy video.
Oh, the Izzy was awesome, man.
That was
awesome.
Great. Yeah, I was like, oh no, he's not gonna say nothing bad about Rich, is he? No, he's not.
He sent me the thumbnail and the title, and he's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "Okay, I guess." He's like, "It's clickbait, of course." I'm like, "I hope so," but it is what it is. So if you haven't watched that, you should check it out. It was pretty funny and super, super well edited as well.
Boggs, what you got coming up, brother?
Well, nothing for the rest of the day because I'm in a lot of different places on YouTube. So Yeah, let's just say that. And I'm excited to meet those who are going to be at the Heroes Meet and Greet on Friday.
Next year, hopefully, brother.
I'll be there all 3 days next year, but this year I'll just be at the meet and greet.
All right, before we get to Cliff, I want to highlight one. Fable, is that his name? Fable.
Fable.
I didn't want to say that. Yeah, he mentioned the Kickstarter for the GI Joe Compendium, and I wish I had $300 to buy that damn thing because it is phenomenal. To get the entire Marvel collection, that would be great. So, Cliff, what you got coming up?
All right, at 5 o'clock, the Council of Comics. We're doing the box office news, and we're reviewing Blade. It is the first in our latest trilogy that we're reviewing. I may have to skip Durs tonight at 10.
He's not doing anything.
So there you go. I'm free. And then at 10 p.m. I'll be on with Black Crown, and we'll be doing all the bakers and the shakers and everything else tonight. That's gonna be excited. He already sent me the itinerary. I'm bombarded. Needless to say, I will have a very, very uncensored response to many of the hot topics. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., Council of Comics, New Keys, and Hot Comics. Also, every night with the Council's Live is a chance to enter the monthly giveaway. Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, I am on with Scotty Vaughn, and we'll be interviewing John Boy Myers, and that's going to be awesome. Wednesday night live for New Comic Book Day with the Council at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do I have something Thursday? I don't think I have something this Thursday, but definitely June 20th, I will be uncensored with 22, and that's going to be great. And July 6th, I'm doing something with Triple G Comics. So really, it's really just fun, just a great time. I'm looking forward to all of it. and I'm going to start saving now so I can make it to Terrificon, and then I'm just going to and then I'm going to do Terrificon, and I'm going to start over again and just keep saving till Heroes next year.
You ever been to Terrificon, or is this first time?
No, I've been many times, but this is the first time I'm going, and I actually know who other people are.
I've never been there, but it always looks awesome.
Oh my God, it's so accessible and fun.
So it looks like Fable's going to try to hit Heroes Con next year as well.
Nice.
We need to amass the army. That's what we need.
Terrificon would be a little more doable for me than Heroes, because Connecticut's a lot closer than Carolinas for me.
Yeah, way closer. Plus, you can look for hotels outside of Mohegan Sun that are way cheaper if you want to spend the night.
Yeah, or you could just drive in.
I mean, you can just drive in, but after a day, I don't know if I feel like driving. And but also I have a place to stay, so that's already taken care of. So you'll see me. Black Crown will be there. Principal Defects will be there. Very Gary will be there. Velvet Joker will be there. Those are all the people I can remember off the top of my head. And then the guest list is out of control with Jim Lee and Chris Claremont and all sorts of other people I can't even remember right now.
Well, it's a lot.
If I can't convince y'all to go with that, I don't know what else.
Well, first, before I get into mine, which I really don't have a lot of stuff coming up, we'll talk about tonight on the Sunday lineup. Thanks to Durs for letting me rob him of these precious pictures. We got Phil right now doing the Sunday Sword. All these times are Eastern. Like Cliff said, they're doing the box office review of Blade. And I was going to do this when he was talking, but I'm going to do it now. So since we're talking Blade.
Worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me.
I watched it last night just so I can remember stuff and join in the chat.
Yay. Oh, Mark Wade will also be at Terrificon. Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder, Scotty Young, Jason Aaron, Brian Azzarello, Mark Bagley, Eric Larson, Walter Simonson, Charles Soleil, Steve Epting, Tim Seeley, Stephanie Phillips, Terry Dodson, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Adam Hughes, Howard Chaykin, Cami Garcia, Jim Starlin, Clay Mann, Louise Simonson, not to leave her husband alone. Oh my God, Clay Mann is looking so good, by the way. Bart Sears, Kyle Starks, Aaron Cooter, Benjamin Percy.
What are we naming?
What's the
That's a lot
dates,
of people.
Cliff, of
August
Terrificon?
16th to 18th. August 16th to 18th.
Yeah, no good for me.
Oh my God, make it happen, Richard. Make it happen.
I got stuff going on with work I won't be able to get out of.
Oh, well, you know what? If you want anything signed, just hit me up and let me know right away.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, Lee Weeks, David Mack, Brian Stillfreeze, Klaus Johnson, Bob Hall, Dave Johnson, Joe Jusko, Allison John, Bob McLeod, who I've interviewed, Cully Hammer, Mike Choi, June Brigman, Al Milgram. Ooh, Al Milgram. Oh, shit. Craig Kyle, Dean Haspel, Des Taylor, Franco, Tana Ford, Ron Garney, Gene Ha, Steve Butler, Stuart Sager, Rudy Niebers, Ryan Brown, John Jang is going to be, you know what? This is great. Joe St. Pierre, Buzz, George LaRoque, Greg LaRoque, sorry, Mike Manley, Jose Marzin Jr., Adrian Mello, Joe Prado, who I love. Oh my God, I'm going to be there with fucking bells on. Okay, I made it through half the list. That's it. We're going to do great. It's going to be amazing. Go to Terrificon, people.
And
Tony,
continuing,
come visit
I was gonna say, continuing with the lineup. Now we know Durs ain't gonna do a show tonight. I believe Mark and Legion of Comics isn't doing a show either.
Mark is
But
doing. Mark is
Oh,
doing.
he is.
I believe so. Yeah, it's got that Space Ghost theme.
Okay, I was gonna say it wasn't on Durs's lineup, so I just assumed he wasn't doing one.
Right, but I found it, and I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Okay, then. All right, he may be doing a show then. We got Black Crown at 9 as well as K-pop, and then rounding out the show tonight will be Trev and Evil Mike. And as far as me, I'll do Tuesday. I'm going to drop the shout outs in This Week in Comic History video. Then after that, I may do a comic spotlight. I may not. I'm thinking about putting the spotlight on hiatus till July, so that way I can work on my next special edition, which is where I do a whole comic arc. And I'm working on Craven's Last Hunt, so I'm going to try to get that done. So hopefully it'll be released when I'm ready. Then I think it's good enough to be released. I do that a little differently. I don't put that on any kind of schedule. And then I'll be back next Sunday, maybe, possibly, to do a live show for all of us who are not going to Heroes Con. I'm going to call it the Not Yet Ready for Heroes Con special.
It is Father's Day too. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, it's Father's Day.
That could be a little bit of a problem, Tony. That could be a little bit of a problem.
We'll just say it's to be determined. But in case you're wondering where I got the Not Yet Ready for Heroes Con name, it was from the original SNL Not Yet Ready for Primetime Players. For some reason, I thought that. Let's go to the chats real quick before I end this on something special that's important to me as well as Cliff. Let's see here. We got Promiscuous Time Travel. Sorry to step away for a minute. What was Cliff trying to convince us of? To go to Terrificon. Frankie Gonzalez said Blade 2 was better. It was good.
I think it might be my favorite of the three. Although, shockingly, I don't hate the third one.
The third one was the funniest. It had a lot of fun scenes in it, but it was probably the worst of the three. Just the funniest of the three. Does that make sense?
No,
so Mark is doing a show tonight at Week's End.
8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you, because I was trying to remember the time. So before we end this show, I'm going to start doing this from now on because, I was privileged enough to get to attend Cliff's seminar on Thursday about suicide prevention. And it's something I've said before in conversations that if I ever became monetized and I didn't need the money for the channel, that I would put it towards the National Suicide Hotline. So I'm going to throw this up and say that I know this is a sensitive, emotionally draining topic, but please save this number and share it with your loved ones. Suicide is one of the most preventable forms of death. Providing a community of support is the most effective way of combating suicide. If you see someone out there that looks like they may be struggling, just be a lifeline for them. You never know what somebody's going through. And just a simple hello can brighten anybody's day.
Yep.
And I don't know really much more to say than that.
It's much higher in men than women.
Yes,
The
it really is.
success rate is higher in men than women because men use more lethal means. The attempt rate is higher with women.
Did not know that.
But I was gonna say, not something that we need to be, what do you call it, excited about? You know what I mean? The attempt rate, success rate, all terrible. But suicide is the most preventable cause of death, and we can all, have a hand in that.
Yep.
And preventing it. Preventing it.
Yeah. I knew what you meant, man.
I want it to be real clear.
I want to thank our very special guest, Brandon Jones, for coming on and talking about his Kickstarter, The Evil That Men Do. Like I said, the links to his Kickstarter are down in the description of this video, and I'll be sharing it throughout until it gets started. Hopefully we'll have him back, and like he said, maybe we can do a giveaway or something. I want to thank Cliff, Voggs, Rich for hanging out in the panel, everybody that's been hanging out in the chat, and for everybody that's watching the replay. Canadian survivalists, I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Sorry about that, man.
My love and prayers for you, brother.
Yeah.
And I'm with Cliff, not the best start to have.
No, not the best stats, right? The stats are terrible.
No.
But this is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. It's not just Pride Month, as much as that excites me. But it is Men's Health Awareness Month.
I didn't know that.
And so I keep putting a little something in my stories almost every day about it. But I've been saying since 2019, there was something I came across Twitter, and someone saying, "Are men okay?" And I'm like, "No, they're not." I'm like, I read statistic over sports where men are not okay. And then now, like at work, when we just talk about stuff that's going on and what to expect, from the community as far as our clientele go, I'm like, hashtag men are not okay. Like just a regular reminder, everybody, because men most often do not seek any mental health help, and men have the highest rate of completed suicides.
Yep.
And
it's okay to not be okay.
And right, and we need a message of it's okay not to be okay,
Fable, once you get your move and everything situated, anytime you want to hop on the show, let me know. Just reach out to me through Instagram, and I'll send you an invite. So that'd be pretty cool. Well, y'all, like I said, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I've already took up half of Phil's time, and I want to thank everybody for just hanging out. And we're going to leave it with. Let me find something. We're going to leave it with the turtles. So everyone, thanks for hanging, and we'll see y'all next time.
Well, dudes, I'd say that's pretty much a wrap. Yep. Cowabunga?
Cowabunga?
Yeah. Cowabunga!